The original series and the movies supported Spirk, the idea that Captain Kirk and Spock had a mutual romantic and sexual relationship. I've never needed that explicitly validated by canon, but it would have been nice. But not like this. A Theodore Sturgeon's beard, not like this. The tale of the Enterprise at La Mort de la Legend is the most disappointing thing since Star Trek Picard. It takes the intriguing idea of two different, complex men drawn together by their complementary differences and pulled apart by culture and obligation in a feast of denial and indulgences and makes it into an enema. I don't want to be the gay guy harping on the gay story not being gay enough or the right kind of gay when there's so much else wrong with this episode. Okay. Rogue Planet from Beyond the Galaxy is going to turn a unitary solar system plus planets into a binary system plus asteroids. And I am 100% sure they did the science on this because no one would create a briefing this boring. But there's aliens inside, of course, and Kirk says honor like he's fucking Firelord Zuko. So he and the senior staff become Knights of the Round Table. Or maybe it's because humanity is boring now. Or because the aliens expect them to be like humans from millennia-old fiction. Why ever it happens, we're doing that TNG episode with Robin Hood, but with a different set of British mythology. Now you might think, well, if they're gonna make Star Trek guys into Knights of the Round Table, then that saves us a lot of exposition space. But if you fellow nerds can name one Knight of the Round Table that wasn't in Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail, you might be right, except you'd be wrong. Because the moral of our story is how cultural mythology is fluid and changes to suit the culture it's within. So our knights are the 23rd century versions of the characters, or the 13th century versions because the aliens made them. It's just not clear. Our plan is to convince the aliens, and I call them the aliens because they aren't named for the very good reason, actually, of screw names, am I right? The crew convinces the aliens to bring over more officers as knights to be opponents and to create better stories, but not the stories the aliens want, which is the point of the entire exercise? Maybe? So the senior staff splits up to do 3 stories: the Fall of Camelot, the Holy Grail, and the Questing Beast. Kirk as Arthur and Sisko as Gawain preside over a tournament, and whenever Spock as Lancelot takes his helmet off, the episode thinks it's playing Careless Whisper, but it's actually playing The Merry-Go-Round Broke Down. Meanwhile, Kira Nerys and Beverly Crusher as Percival and Galahad are looking for the Holy Grail, but can't agree on killing versus not killing, a debate that is the trifecta: shallow, contrived, and completely unresolved. Finally, Picard, Scotty, and Janeway as Tristan, Kay, and Lamorak. Don't look it up. I assure you, no one knows who Lamorak is except for whatever Sir Lamorak Stan wrote this thing. They're looking for the Questing Beast, and how convenient is it that Lamorak was in the first pool of knights, leaving Lancelot free to be played by Spock? You know Lancelot, the most popular figure of Arthurian myth after Arthur, and debatably Guinevere. Also, Guinevere is a knight now, not married to Arthur. That's not a complaint, it's just an interesting idea. We cannot even get into the thing where Camelot falls to the power of guy love because Picard and Janeway fight, and out of nowhere there is a Scotty character arc about leadership. It's not an arc so much, but it's shaped as one. Scotty eventually makes a decision, and we realize a few scenes later that was the character growth, I guess. If Scotty learned something, that also wasn't quite clear. And the Questing Beast looks stupid, which upon researching is canon to the mythos, but that is no reason to make a CGI Questing Beast that looks that freaking goofy. Speaking of things you can't take back, Spock saying he only read the manga of Arthurian legend. Kira Nerys saying Batman and family in a discussion about cultural stories that mutate over time, implying Bajorans are familiar with Batman. The EMH being the Questing Beast, despite establishing the senior staff have to ask for officers to be pulled into the story, so how could he be unwittingly pulled into the story to be the Questing Beast? Even Arthur and Mordred, Harry Kim as Mordred, make peace at Camlan, and the aliens appear in a huff to receive their Kirk speech, but it all fails, and it feels more rote than righteous. It's just bad.